Getting ready then for the next race, which is the X30 Senior Final. Race number 32 on your agenda. Here is your grid. Lucas Ellingham in his first race in the X30 Seniors here at Whilton Mill. Your reigning X30 Junior champion starts from pole position. Ellis Bourchier, also from X30 Junior in 2020, joins him on the front row of the grid. Nathan Amos and Roy Johnson are on row 2. Sam Heading and Matthew Herbert are on row number 3. Jordan Brown and Alex Johnston, another graduates from the juniors. They start this race from row 4. Archie Forber and Scott Smith, row 5. And perhaps the first of the surprises here on row 6, Caelan Burbridge and Harry Torpey down there, 12th on the grid. It has not been the kind of day for the champions of 2020. Alex Moody and Oscar Joyce are on row 7. Ollie Henwood and Anki Stenning, row 8. Vishal Patel and Thomas Massarella on row number 9. The other Torpey, Joshua Torpey, down in 19th on the grid in this final. Alex Donington alongside on the 10th row. Benjamin Watson, Brandon Matchell on the 11th row of the grid. James Otto and Mick Banner are on row number 12. Benjamin Southgate and Joseph Aarons are on row 13. Martin Auger and Daniel Hackett on row 14. Jack Davis and Curtis Louis on the 15th row of the grid. And that is your field of karts for this X30 Senior Final.
Drivers, as we prepare for the start, we've got the 58 racing for the 99 of Lucas Ellingham. A little bit of strategy here going on for the start. And has it worked for Lucas Ellingham? Yes, it has, as he leads going into the first corner. Very, very interesting idea from Lucas Ellingham to hang back, and it has worked to gain him the advantage going up towards Christmas for the first time. There you go, everyone locking brakes as we go into Christmas. Oh, there's a big crash and multiple drivers involved. The 32 was involved there, and the another driver there, that was Caelan Burbridge, and perhaps Alex Moody involved in that as well. Clearly not a good start for those particular drivers.
Yeah, I think Ollie Henwood was involved in there. Archie Forber hasn't come through Sector 1 either. So a couple of drivers really not enjoying things there as they went up to Christmas Corner.
Yep, but we've still got Lucas Ellingham leading the way, Ellis Brasher in second place, and Rory Johnson in third with the 34 car, as we can see them coming their way through. It's almost impossible to work out who's who. Contact warning for the number 26 of Curtis Louis, who is currently running in 24th position, as we have another little scrap here with the 37 being, that's Scott Smith being involved. That's the scrap for 8th or 7th position on the track, and is that Harry Trophy going for the move? Yes, he is. He's gotten that position off the that is the 39 of Matthew Herbert, I believe. So he has gained some position. Now down towards the inside, close stuff there between the 58 and the 34 of Roy Johnson. He picked up that position and he has elevated himself up to P2.
Very good stuff there from Roy Johnson. Very experienced driver. Contact warning, as we've already mentioned, for the number 26 can show there on the digiflag over the start gantry. As here comes the number 57 of Sam Heading, who's had a very good start to this race, and that's him up to third, past the 58 of Ellis Bourchier.
Well, currently you can still pretty much throw a blanket over the positions from P2 down to P5. Absolutely nothing between them at this level. These are, of course, probably the most experienced drivers on the grid, it'd be fair to say. These are definitely the oldest. These are around from the age of 16, 15 drivers in this class, all the way up to, of course, drivers in their 20s. So here we have multiple ages. Lucas Ellingham still leading the way, Roy Johnson second, and Sam Heading in third position after that lap. As we now watch them heading out towards Christmas, that's the 57 preparing Sam Heading, and he is through. Very smooth move. He did not lose much time there at all. Contact warning there for Martin Auger, who is currently running in 29th position.
I'll tell you what, Sam Heading's absolutely flying in this race because he's got the fastest lap of the race. He's just made Roy Johnson look particularly normal, which I don't normally say. Could he start to challenge Lucas Ellingham here? Sam Heading started this race, 5th on the grid. And what can he do now in the next couple of laps? It's going to be very telling for the story of this race. There's a quick shot of Nathan Amos in 6th place. Harry Torpey just behind. Alex Johnston has just made a move on Scott Smith, has got through into 10th position. Mick Banner, unfortunately, has lost 3 spots on that last one to Joseph Owens, Daniel Hackett and James Otto. Coming through the first sector, well, it's another 10th out of the lead for Lucas Ellingham by Sam Heading. He is absolutely flying.
He sure is. Honourable mention going to Antwi Senning, who's still battling with that rib injury, of course, as we mentioned earlier. He's in quite a lot of pain, so fair dues to him for being in 12th position currently, and he's going very well considering the circumstances. There we see Lucas Ellingham going through the final corner, again activating the human DRS, as I like to call it, as he goes down behind the steering wheel to try and minimize his drag. Of course, being a relatively tall driver compared to some of the others, as there's another move, that is the 36 there of Nathan Amis, moving ahead of Jordan Brown.
Yeah, good move by Nathan there. It's good for 5th place. Thomas Massarella, who I saw at the start was all crossed up. I think he got a little bit loaded in the rear axle. He did very well to hold on to it. He's making some nice progress. He's just got 12th place. And well, we hope the kart's okay, because he was running very strongly in heat number 3, had a mechanical and fell out of, if I remember correctly, 5th place in that one. So watch out for Massarella as this race continues. Still 5.5 minutes plus 1 lap of it to go. The gap, though, at the lead in front, 0.18 of a second. Sam Heading is right there on the rear bumper now of Lucas Ellingham and is into the 44s.
He is absolutely on a charge, isn't he? Should be past Ellingham relatively shortly, which isn't good news for Lucas, of course, but with such pace it's going to be difficult to keep him behind for the remaining 5 minutes of the race.
Joshua Torpey also making positions. 13th place for him now, past Stenning. Here are your leaders going into the boot now. Sam Heading will just try and use the next couple of laps to figure out where Ellingham is strong, where Ellingham is weak. There's not going to be many places where Ellingham is weak, because he knows the circuit very, very well, being a junior champion around this place. But down the inside, there goes Sam Heading into the lead. Now, can Lucas Ellingham fight back, or will he work with him at this stage? Because the next group isn't that far behind, 1.5 seconds. There's still a lot of time in this race remaining. But Sam Heading has really turned up the wick in this final.
Yep, he definitely has, as we can see now. He's just a little bit of a gap now. Around 2 seconds. Oh, and that's the 21.
Massarella. Oh, it's another mechanical issue for Thomas Massarella. This is a repeat of what we saw in heat number 3, and he is out of the race.
Yeah. Unlucky there, Thomas there, as he was running in 12th position. So, just under 4 minutes remaining, as we have Sam Heading starting to pull quite a decent gap now towards the driver in 2nd place, which is Lucas Ellingham still. Rory Johnson is still holding on to that 3rd place, with Els Boucher in 4th, and 5th is Nathan Amis. Harry Trophy is 6th, and Jordan Brown in 7th. As we now saw some more great shots of this battle for P3 between Roy Johnson and Els Boucher there. Obviously with the quite wonderful stickers, quite easily to make up the difference between these 2 drivers, with the difference between their helmet painting and their Kart decals, as it were. You can see there both drivers still very much pushing on towards Christmas. You can see the sun's really starting to come out, so we're getting some nice reflection of the rubbered in sections of the tarmac out on the track. So still, Sam Heading, Lucas Ellingham, Roy Johnson are your top 3, with just under 3 minutes now remaining of the race, and it seems that Sam Heading is starting to get a little bit more comfortable with his gap to Lucas Ellingham, as is Roy Johnson, just keeping Els Boucher at bay. Meanwhile, there's a scrap going on between the 304, which is Alec Johnston in P9, and that is Scott Smith right on his back bumper, almost on it as it was, trying to find a way past as we head now down towards the first corner once again over the curb. Look at them flying into the air. Isn't that majestic? As we now see Sam Heading. Look at him at work. Absolutely a man in control, isn't he? Just beautifully controlling that kart, being smooth on the wheel over the curb there. Not particularly smooth, just like I pointed out, of course, but mostly smooth around the other sections of the track.
Still got to get to the end of the race though. 2 minutes to go. And we've seen race leaders fall out of these positions before. Roy Johnson is really starting to come into a bit of form towards the end of this race as they come round to complete another lap. Third place, and the pace is not too bad either. 90 seconds of this one to go. Just having a brief look there. There is Massavella's cart being pulled away quite unceremoniously. That is the end of the day for number 21.
Oh, that's changing position. I think we're into Ashby. I think that
It's
was
Matthew Herbert going down the inside of Scott Smith, I think. So the 39 past the 37 for 9th place. Here's the fight over third. Johnson, Bourchier, Amos.
Don't want to be too quick here on the mark, but it has been relatively clean in this senior final. Everyone giving themselves plenty of room, which is good to see always. Good racecraft from everybody and good racing manners. With, of course, Sam Henning still leading the way from Lucas Ellingham and Roy Johnson in third still. Lucas
Ellingham is starting to fight back. He's just set the fastest lap of the race so far, 44.97. Is this some tactics at play by Lucas Ellingham? He's held himself 0.4 of a second back from Sam Henning, so that's not a terrible place to be at this stage of the race. Has he saved some tyres? Has he saved some of the pace for the latter stages of this one to apply the pressure to Sam Henning as the dying embers of this race approaches? This is the battle for third place, Johnson and Bourchier. But Sam Henning responds, 44.95. 2 more laps to go here. Vishal Patel's just got through past RG4 before 13th place. Joshua Torpey, last year's championship runner-up, is up to 11th place now past Oscar Joyce. Still Roy Johnson holding off Ellis Bourchier as they come down into the Ashby hairpin now.
Yep, as they head in and out of Ashby. Relatively sure that's the battle for the lead all soon up. The gap's now 6/10, and we definitely don't have a lot of laps on the clock left. I believe there is only one after this one, if I'm correct. The battle still rages on for third place though, with Roy Johnson just keeping Ellis Boucher at bay as they come through the pictures there. Yep, the last board has gone out. This is the final lap, so we shall see if there are any desperate moves on this last lap to try and secure a podium spot perhaps. But so here we are, coming down towards Christmas, and no, not really close enough, are they? Just trying to keep it nice and neat. Roy Johnson isn't really defending. Will he defend now? No, he isn't. He does go for a slightly earlier apex though, just to kind of tell Ellis Boucher not to try anything silly on this last lap. Oh, but he is taking a little bit of a defensive line there, just trying to keep them at bay. Is he going to go for an inside line? No, not particularly.
But here comes Sam Henning. This has been a really good final. What a win in X30 Senior for Sam Henning. Lucas Ellingham, 2nd place on his first go here in seniors. 3rd place for Roy Johnson. 4th for Ellis Bourchier. 5th for Nathan Amos. Harry Torpey, good recovery drive there for the reigning champion in 6th place. 7th place for Jordan Brown. 8th Alex Johnston. 9th Scott Smith. And Matthew Herbert there in 10th place.